Radiant barrier is going to deflect about 97% of the sun's rays. So you take our patented soffit ventilation system, you combine it with the radiant barrier, this building will test out 30 degrees cooler than anything else on the market.
I believe it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. Today we are in a very unusual place. You don't know that I start a video like this very often. A month or two ago, I did a video on sheds. I bought a shed for my property. And we went down and looked at Home Depot sheds, which I thought the quality was pretty low. And I found a Premier shed, which I bought. I thought the quality was quite a bit higher. But today we are in QUARTZSITE, Arizona, and we're talking to Kurt. Hi, Kurt.
Howdy.
And you work with Graceland Portable Buildings.
That's correct. And
we are in QUARTZSITE, and you have a big lot here. What all do you sell here?
So we're here at the corner of Main and Central and QUARTZSITE. We own Sunset Sheds of Arizona. So we offer 4 brands. We do the Graceland Portable Buildings, okay, which is probably what you guys are going to be interested in. We also do American Steel Carports, so we can do the RV covers in the garages and whatnot. We do Cavco Park Model Homes, and then we also offer ConnexHub.com steel containers as well.
All the things a homesteader or someone just getting onto a lot would be glad to have.
Yes.
The reason I'm doing this video right after another shed video is when I got here this year, I came and checked out the Graceland Sheds, and I was very, very impressed with the quality of these sheds.
Right.
I think these are probably some of the very best quality sheds I have seen anywhere. So you sell a lot of sheds, and you also sell probably a lot of them as tiny homes. Is that right?
That's correct. So that tends to be starting to be the crave right now, you know. So literally, Bob, if you got into the biggest thing that we offered, a 14 by 40, lofted barn, storage, wraparound porch, the whole shebang, the most you could put in that'd be about 25,000. Okay, you put another 15 in it, finished out 40 grand, you got a brand new home. Right. We're talking appliances and everything. Right. Now you don't need a 14 by 40, you know, obviously to live in. You can get by with something much smaller, but that would be like the extreme, like the high end of what we could do with a Graceland portable building.
And so you know a little bit about the tiny home market here in Arizona. So if I came to you and said, where's a good place for me to buy a shed as a tiny home and go and try and live within the codes, the counties, do you have any ideas where folks could go?
So right now there seems to be a big trend in Yucca Valley, Yucca Golden Valley area right now. For whatever reason, they're pretty loose on their requirements, and they're encouraging that type of living.
And so folks who don't know where that is, roughly where's that in Arizona? What's nearby?
So Kingman would probably be the closest populated city to that area. And of course, there's a lot of places in Arizona that will allow that. It's just there's some codes and some permitting. Not that it's disallowed, it's just a little bigger hoop.
Right. And there are a lot of places where there appears to be no enforcement.
There is those places too. In fact, we sell a lot of buildings to reservations. You know.
Oh yeah.
A lot of buildings go to reservations.
And Graceland is a big company. They're not just here in Arizona. They're nationwide.
That's right. So we're in about 27 different states at the last count. We like to say that we don't build sheds, we build buildings, because we build everything to whatever the state code is. So here we build everything to Arizona building code. And just like yourself, when you stepped into a Graceland building, right away you knew, I don't want to say that you made a mistake, but you could tell the difference right away.
Right away.
So one thing that we don't do, and I guess we're going to cover this a little later inside a building, is you'll notice Graceland, we don't use chipboard.
Right.
Okay, and there's some good reasons for that.
Absolutely. If I could get in a time machine and go back a year and a half, I would tell myself not to buy here. Yeah. Buy a Graceland.
And it's just about getting educated. You know, there's a lot of, we call them the copycats. You know, you'll look at the door trim, everything's kind of cut the same. So on a drive-by, they'll look the same. But once you step in one, and if you have somebody point out some of the features and some of the differences, immediately you know the difference. And, we pride ourselves on being the best quality, best built shed or building on the market. And that doesn't necessarily come with the highest price either. Right. When you're a company the size of us, 27 different states, which, by the way, Bob, you can go to GracelandBuildings.com. You can click on our store locator, dealer locator, put in your zip code, and it'll take you to the dealer closest to you. So if you're in North Carolina, you need a Graceland portable building, that'd be the place to do it. And you can also use our 3D configurator. So go through there. You can play around, build your own building. move the doors, the windows, the colors, you know, whatever you want to do. But before we'll let you purchase it, we're going to send you to a professional that'll help you make sure you're making the right decisions on that product before you hit the buy now button. Now, if you come to my QUARTZSITE lot and you say, hey, you know, I really like that side lofted barn right there, we're going to deliver it for free out to 50 miles. And then we do have to do a little over mileage fee after that. But we'll deliver anything off of any of the lots. And I'll mention I have 4 locations in Arizona. Yeah. And I'm working on a 5th as we speak. So I think in December, we were rated the fastest growing, highest selling dealer of this type in Arizona.
And a lot of the reason why I think you do so phenomenally well here is because of a lot of us older nomad RVers are looking for a place to settle down on. That's one of the reasons we became nomads, is to travel the country and say, that's where I want to be. And for a lot of us, Arizona is where it is, and a nice portable building, especially a quality one like Graceland, is the perfect solution.
Yep. And some people don't want to travel anymore. Okay,
right.
So the expense of owning a coach or a camper and hauling it across the country and the blowouts and the battery, all the stuff that's associated with that, they're like, you know what, I could own a couple of Graceland cabins way less expensive than I can own that motorhome and travel back and forth.
Right.
And so that's been a big push for us too, not just here, but in our Cavco Park Model homes.
Let's go ahead and go inside a building and we'll actually take a look at what separates Graceland from all the rest. And I know you're out there thinking, I know a lot of you, look at these, sold out. Finally, just sold out. This guy's paying him a lot of money. How much money are you paying me?
So absolutely none. And I asked up front. I said,
right up front.
For me, this is an opportunity. What do I owe you? I know that your reach. I know your power in YouTube. And yeah, it's absolutely nothing. So for Bob to come in here and say, hey, I think you got a product that my viewers need and could appreciate versus what I had done in the past, that meant a lot to me because we didn't talk.
No.
Before you stepped into a Graceland portable building and then come in and said, hey, I think this is what my viewers need.
Yeah, and that's absolutely it. So I'm not being paid in any way, shape, or form other than from YouTube on this video. So just take my word for it. I believe this is a superior product and one you should consider strongly. If you're interested in a portable building, a shed, this is the one I think you should get. So let's go ahead and go on inside and take a look.
Okay, come on. All the other buildings are built the same.
Yes.
Okay, Graceland is a game changer in the building side of it. So, no particle board.
Right.
Okay, we see a lot of that. And I'm just learning now about the OSB gases and stuff, the off gases I think they call. Not something I ever gave it much consideration. We don't get that, at least not to that level with plywood.
No, there's no comparison.
So particle board, you give it 5 to 7 years out here in our heat, it starts to delaminate. If it gets around too much moisture, it starts to swell, okay? And it never goes back. It doesn't shrink back. So I would encourage you, if you're going to invest about the same amount of money, get a Graceland portable buildings because we're not any higher than the OSB ones.
So another big thing here, as I look around, is you're using 2x6 and rafters.
Yep.
Mine's a 2x4 and nearly all of them are.
Right.
Which is inadequate. Well, there's no snow load here. So that would be the only saving grace.
Right. So in our buildings, they're all engineered. Okay. These aren't just a couple dudes out back swinging hammers, you know, and trying to take away from somebody's trade. But these are all engineered buildings. So here in Arizona, if you're up in Williams, you know, Flagstaff where you get a lot of snow, we carry a snow load. We also have a wind shear rating that's just greater than anybody else on the market. So everything we do is tested. It's got to last. And remember, when not just for you as an investor in one of these products, you want it to last forever. But for us, if we have to go pick it up, okay, maybe you just want to move it from one location to you got a new location somewhere. We can come pick this thing up and we can redeliver it somewhere else. So quality of a Graceland building, here's what sets us apart, okay, a few of the things. Graceland's the only building company that I know of, shed company, that holds a patent. So where's our patent? Our patent is in our softened ventilation system. Every Graceland portable building, all the eaves, which I can show you outside from one into the other, is vented. And then up here, our roof ridge vent is vented also. We put a screen over the top of that so it keeps the bugs, the birds, and the wasps and whatnot out. When you combine it with the silver stuff you see up here, that's radiant barrier. Radiant barrier is going to deflect about 97% of the sun's rays. So you take our patented softened ventilation system, you combine it with the radiant barrier, this building will test out 30 degrees cooler than anything else on the market.
I believe it.
That's why I sell so many buildings in Arizona. That's why we sell so many buildings in New Mexico, because of the heat. Now, maybe you're in Nebraska. Okay, you get a lot of condensation. Keeping that air moving, okay, eliminates condensation. Most shed companies, they have a license plate size gable end vent.
Right.
They put one of those on both ends.
Right. That's
and
right.
I would encourage, if you go home and look at yours, there's going to be a 2x4 right down the middle or the side of it. So you expect all that heat in that building to come out of those two vents. Not going to happen.
So what happens in the winter then? Because you got all these openings.
Right. So a lot of people want to insulate their buildings.
Right.
Okay. So if you're going to insulate something like this, well, I would suggest spraying insulation. Now, it's the most expensive, but it also seals every crack, every gap, whatever, and it's minimal expanding. So if that's the route that you go, you don't want to cover the ventilation up here.
Right.
You don't want to close that off. You can still spray foam. You can still sheet this if you'd like.
Right.
You still have all that movement going all the time. Most of those instances, the people are insulating them.
Right.
And so it's, you know, it's built out just like a house. We do 2x4s, grade A lumber, every 16 inches. All right, not a big deal. That's not a patentable item. But every fourth one, we double it. Okay, so we double it because that's where the tongue and groove sheeting, Duratemp siding in this case, comes together outside. So that gives us a place to double up on the nails. Again, it makes it more secure.
Mm-hmm.
Graceland also does a double top plate up here. You mentioned earlier, we do 2x6 rafters in all of our buildings. We use Douglas fir on the floor. This is plywood also. It's 5/8 of an inch. It's also tongue and groove. This entire building is pretty much put together with a ring shank nail. And those ring shank nails, they don't rust. They hold like screws. I don't know if you've ever tried to pull one out before, but they're the dickens.
Yeah.
So all ring shank nails. Now, something that we added to these buildings across the board is Graceland uses hurricane screws. Well, why would you need hurricane screws in Arizona? You probably don't, but we do get some wind. So we used to use a hurricane strap, and the hurricane strap attached this to the top plate. But if you were sheetrocking, it left a bump. So now, if you could see in here's one here. That's a hurricane screw. That hurricane screw is 6 inches long. It doesn't break until about 800 pounds, and that's why we switched from the strap. It broke at like 460. Those are also on the floor. I'm going to mention below this floor, we can't see it because we're standing on it, but below it, we do a 4x6 pressure-treated notched runner or notched skid. So when our delivery guys grab one of these buildings from the end with that mule, and they pick it up and they go to pull it, it's pulling the entire building. It's not just pulling that end plate. So I mentioned earlier, we do 4 styles. We do sheds, barns, cabins, and garages. Behind me, 10x20 garage. If you didn't need it that big, if you needed it bigger, we can build just about whatever size you want. This is an urban shed. If you notice up above, we have the transom windows on here. Those are very popular. It also has a slant roof. Now we can put the doors and the windows on the backside on the short wall if you'd like, if you need the rain to run off a certain direction. So right behind me, Bob, this is an urban building, so it has the slant roof on it. Okay, we also incorporate that into our mini sheds. This is a gable roof over here. So remember we was in that tall lofted barn? Mm-hmm. So this will not have the lofts in it. This has a gable style roof on it. Right next to it is called a lofted barn. See the barn style roof? Right. Next to that is a side lofted barn. So the only thing that changed is we put the doors on the side instead of the end. Right. Next to that again is another barn style. It has a couple of double doors. And one of my favorites is that little 12x12 down there with the man door. Yes. That's a gable roof also. And come on up here, check this out. Talking about windows, you can have whatever you want. This is a pair of 2x3s. Okay, they're double. It's cute. And again, this is a gable style roof. So you see there's no lofts in here. And again, all 2x6 construction. Right. So this is a gambrel, and we just refer it to as a barn style roof. Again, it has the doors on the end, so it's just a lofted barn. Now this is a short wall, Bob. Oh. You're gonna like this, okay? Because you're short. Yeah. So come on in. Oh yeah. See how much shorter this wall is? See how lower this is? Yeah. So it's actually a little easier to get to. So we build a short wall and a tall wall in about every series of building we build. A couple of my favorite colors on this one. This is sapphire and warm sand. And again, you can pick the colors. Maybe you want it all one color. You can pick the roof colors. They're all metal roofing. All metal roof. So this is a tall wall. So this is a 10 by 16 also. The exact same size as the one we came out of. Side lofted barn because the door's on the side. Has the same 4-foot lofts on both ends. So right behind me we have a few of the cabins, the small ones. There's a couple of 10 by 20s, a couple of 12 by 24 cabins. These aren't lofted. You could get them lofted if you would like. So we do a corner porch cabin. Okay, that has the 4 by 12 porch on it over here. And then we do an in porch cabin. So that's a 10 by 20 cabin. Now you lose 4 feet because of the porch. 10 by 20, here's 4 feet. We come in here, we're back to that 10 by 16. It's a pretty popular size. You probably are noticing.
Yes. But to my mind, this is a really good size.
Yeah, I think this one is $7,000 or $8,000.
Wow, that's a great deal.
Yeah. So we do have some options in paint, okay? We do paint, we do stain, and we do a urethane. So on my right here, this is a painted building. We use PPG products for the paint. We find that we don't have any blistering or bubbling here in Arizona. On my left, this is urethane. Now, urethane's one of my favorites. It has kind of a little streaky, kind of a tiger stripe appeal look to it. That's my favorite.
So Kurt, what is the warranty on Graceland Portable Building?
So Graceland Portable Buildings, we offer some of the strongest warranties in the market. And so we do 25-year manufacturer's warranty, and that's on all the roof products. We do a 7-year limited warranty, and that's on our workmanship. And then we do a limited lifetime, and that's on the manufacturer's warranty on the treated wood products. Now, a few of the bullet points: a patented exclusive soffit ventilation, that's our claim to fame. Nobody else can do that. Look for the G, all right? And when you see that G, that's where that little license plate vent would be on most of the other buildings. It doesn't cut it here in our heat. 5/8 heavy-duty treated floor system. That's all tongue and groove Douglas fir. We do a 4x6 treated notch runner, 2x6 treated floor joist, Duratemp siding. That's a big one. Everybody else is using that off-gassing chipboard, right? 2x4 reinforced entry doors and windows. The galvanized ring shank nails. Free delivery and setup. That's within 50 miles. We're going to bring our guys out with that specialized equipment. We're going to set that building. We're going to level it for you. And in Arizona, New Mexico, we're going to provide free ground anchors for that building, right? Free. We don't charge you extra for them. We don't install them, but they will be in every building. Again, backed by some of the strongest warranties in the market. That rent-to-own option is huge, and no credit check.
Pretty sweet. Well, Kurt, thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge and information about portable buildings, sheds, and all the other things we learned. And I know my audience has learned a lot, and thank you so much. I very much appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity as well.
And so, folks, I know you've gotten some great ideas, a lot of knowledge you never had before, you never would have thought of to even ask. If you did, then like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you on the next video. Bye now.